And you're a household name. And when I think about the fact that you became called Carrot Top when you were how old?
Well, I think it's a moniker that I just kind of took on. It was, Carrot Top was always, a lot of people that have red hair probably will call it Carrot Top. I was in my dorm room at the time and thinking about, of course, becoming a comedian. So I drew this logo, and I had this logo all drawn. My friends said, "Oh, wow, what's that? What's the Carrot Top thing?" And that's my logo. And they said, "For what?" I said, "For my comedy career." And they said, "You don't have an act." And I said, "I know, but I have a logo." Seriously, that's not a joke.
That's the first step.
The hardest part's over. I got the logo. So now I can relax and just come up with an act, which I still don't have, but I have a logo. But so that was true. I thought of the whole thing in a sense, really did think it out.
Yeah.
I was a marketing major. And so when I decided to try to get into comedy, I really did think of like the Rolling Stones or the Grateful Dead and something that had this iconic moniker kind of, almost like
Aerosmith is
brand.
another one.
A brand, exactly.
Yep.
So if you see the tongue, you know that's the Rolling Stones. You steal his face, you see that's Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
So I thought Carrot Top, that would be good. And so I did kind of think of the whole thing in a sense, in a marketing aspect of coming up with not only the act, but like with the show. I thought it was kind of clever and again, well thought out, but like when especially playing the clubs back in the day in Los Angeles or wherever, you'd have 100 comics a night, right? And so depending on what time you got up, the whole time that I was up there, my trunk said Carrot Top too. So my logo was literally in their face. So if
You were
they left,
branding yourself.
right? Branding. So they'd say, "Who'd you see tonight?" I saw I don't know, Carrot Top. So because they remember seeing not only that, the props too, the visual aspect of the show and the logo. So
Yeah. It's interesting. You grew up to an engineering family.
I did. Yeah.
In Cocoa Beach, was it, in Florida?
Yes, Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral. Yeah.
Yeah, just the Cape Canaveral area. And your dad was an engineer on Apollo and Gemini, correct?
Yeah, all the Skylab, Gemini, Apollo, even all the way up to shuttle. In fact,
Wow.
my joke I used to say is, if you listen, Houston, we have a problem in the back of your hill. Larry! Right after they said, Houston, we have a problem. Larry! Because my dad probably caused that.
That's funny. So it's interesting that coming from a pretty conservative engineering background that you became so funny. Were you always this way? Or
No, in fact, my father, believe it or not, when he asked me one day, he said, "How are you paying for your bills?" I said, "Well, I'm doing these odd jobs in college. I was delivering bread and shucking oysters and whatnot and going to school." And I said, "I'm also doing comedy, so the comedy kind of pays for like my gas and this and that, my extra bills." And he says, "Comedy? What are you doing for comedy?" And I said, "No, I'm doing comedy." And my dad says, I'm not quite understanding what that means. I said, "Stand-up comedy. I go and I do stand-up comedy in these clubs and I get paid like $20, $30. And he says, "But you're not funny." And I said, "I know. It's true, Dad. But seriously, you got to come see." So my dad never knew until literally maybe a year or two in, when I started getting together enough, for a 15, 20-minute act. He came and was blown away because he said, "What part of this that I've never knew this, you had this side of you." He didn't know that I was an entertainer. He always knew that I was kind of class clown in a sense, but he didn't know that I was that I had this part of me, this personality. So
when you were young, you chose to go to college and
I did.
and take marketing major.
Mm-hmm.
So did you finish college?
I did.
And you finished with
Why do
a
you look
marketing
shocked,
degree?
John? I did.
No, it's not. It's not.
Why do you look shocked? No.
But it's interesting to me because you follow such traditional branding logics in your logo. You've created an identity, a caricature of you, and I see them on billboards around the city.
Sure.
You know exactly who you are. So you've created the visual aspects, the personality of your show with your props and your trunks.
Right.
You really have created a very powerful brand. But it's interesting to me when I sit here and I talk to you. You are the brand. It's authentic. There's no difference between you on and off stage, really, is there?
This is true. No, not really. No, I mean a little bit. I was just on an airplane last night flying here, and the guy next to me said, "I don't want to bother you, but you're Carrot Top." He said, "Yeah." He says, "You're so quiet." So that's one thing I think people always think I'm manic, and if I'm in a restaurant, I'm juggling salt and pepper shakers and stuff. I'm not. I'm actually, there's a mellow side, but I think every comic is that way in a sense. So that's the only aspect I think of me on stage, off stage, is you have to put up a little bit more showbiz, time to go.